Говоревте на дебатата за Косово, кажавте дека 2/3 од земјите членки на Советот на Европа всушност го подржуваат Косово да stane členka na Sovetot na Evropa.
2/3 članica, dakle zemalja članica Vijeća Europe, kako smo do sada vidjeli, podržava kosovsko članstvo u Vijeću Europe. Ali ja sam to govorila u kontekstu činjenice da kosovski ustav sadrži Europsku povelju za ljudska prava i dakle ima svoj komitment određeni prema Europskoj povelji, a s druge strane državljani Kosova nemaju mogućnost, građani Kosova nemaju mogućnost i nemaju pristup Europskom sudu za ljudska prava. Pa je to onda pitanje i za beogradski režim. Dakle, ako se krše prava Srba ili Bošnjaka ili Albanaca ili bilo koga, kako tvrde, na Kosovu, onda jedini način da ti ljudi ostvare pravo jeste kroz pristup mehanizmima za zaštitu ljudskih prava, odnosno kroz Europski sud za ljudska prava. Jedini način da tuže kosovsku vladu jeste i među ostalog i da budu članica Vijeća Europe. I onda se postavlja pitanje da li je gospodinu Vučiću i njegovoj vladi u interesu da zaštite prava Srba na Kosovu ili im je možda u interesu da ih koriste na način na koji se, usuđujem reći, vrlo često manipulišu i koriste sve, ja bih rekla, zemlje u regionu sa manjinama, pa između ostalog i gospodin Vučić sa Srbima na Kosovu.
Велите не треба да се чека, всушност, Косово да stane členka na Советот на Европа заради стабилноста, безбедноста.
Tako je, govorila sam u kontekstu destabilizacije regiona. Svjesni smo jedne geneze malignog vanjskog uticaja u regionu. Ako pogledamo šta se dešavalo u Sjevernoj Makedoniji, ako pogledamo praktično pokušaj vojnog udara svojevremeno u Crnoj Gori, ako pogledamo ruski uticaj itekako prisutan u jednom dijelu Bosne i Hercegovine, činjenica da od agresije na Ukrajinu nekoliko puta se sastajao predsjednik Republike Srpske i vrlo ponosno sastajao i uzimao instrukcije od gospodina Putina, svjesni smo pozicije Beograda. Dakle, ako postoji opredjeljenost građana da pripadaju Europskoj uniji, kako u Bosni i Hercegovini, tako na Kosovu, tako u Crnoj Gori, barem po svim istraživanjima, ja koliko znam, građani Sjeverne Makedonije, koliko i građani Bosne i Hercegovine žele da budu dio Europske unije, onda je licemjerno zatvarati im vrata mehanizmima Europe, između ostalo, kao što sam rekla, i Europskog suda za ljudska prava, ali i ono što se svojevremeno desilo Sjevernoj Makedoniji i scenarij od kog strahuje Bosna i Hercegovina, to je da zemlja napravi korake koje je poželjno da napravi svojevrsne kompromise, izađe, dakle, upravo iz neke svoje, recimo, uslovno rečeno, komfort zone, kako bi se približila Europskoj uniji, a onda dobije jedan skeptični odgovor, prevashodno u tom momentu Francuske i Holandije. Dakle, želimo izbjeći taj scenarij kako u Bosni i Hercegovini, želimo ga izbjeći, nadam se, i za Kosovo.
Околу Судот за човекови права се однесува на 17 пресуди кои ги има Бугарија против Македонија, малцинството, но сепак тие не се почитуваат.
Pazite, mi imamo neimplementiranih presuda u Bosni i Hercegovini. Naš evropski put se veže za implementaciju presuda Evropskog suda za ljudska prava, ali on nama jeste svojevrsna zaštita da se zemlja neće kretati u brutalno pogrešnom pravcu. Ne moram vas napominjati koliko je Dejtonski mirovni sporazum jedno kompromisno rješenje koje u samoj svojoj srži, u samom svom korijenu krši ljudska prava. Ja se zovem Sabina Ćudić, ja sam rođena u Sarajevu, najveći dio svog života sam provela u Bosni i Hercegovini, a nema mogućnost da se kandidujem za članicu predsjedništva, za Dom naroda Bosne i Hercegovine, zato što se ne izjašnjavam niti kao Srpkinja, niti kao Bošnjakinja, niti kao Hrvatica. Dakle, naš sistem inherentno krši naša ljudska prava, odnosno krši naša prava, između ostalog da biramo i budemo birani. Tako da, ipak je to jedan sistem koji nudi okvir i unutar tog okvira, ukoliko se želimo kretati ka određenim vrijednostima, taj okvir je ozbiljan mehanizam.
Го критикувавте руското влијание всушност во Србија. Ве цитирам: Путин има директен контакт, пристап до Белград и Бanja Luka. Ruskото влијание je огромно во регионот.
Tako je, apsolutno. I pazite, nije to neka moja procjena bazirana na nekoj mojoj ličnoj teoriji. Ljudi u regionu, poput gospodina Vučića i poput gospodina Milorada Dodika, se hvale svojim pristupom gospodinu Vučiću. Pazite, mi sada pokušavamo ustanoviti ko je odgovoran za teroristički napad na Kosovo, istovremeno Srbija i Republika Srpska proglašavaju dan žalosti zbog poginulih, dakle, napadača na Kosovo. To je zapravo svojevrsno preuzimanje odgovornosti. Iako kao država smatrate, dakle, da ste na neki način oštećeni smrću napadača koji su potpuno naoružani se krili u manastiru, onda i preuzimate odgovornost za sve posljedice koje proizilaze iz te vrste napada. U tom kontekstu mislim da ne smijemo, ja uvijek dajem primjer malog djeteta koje, ne znam da li ste imali priliku igrati se hide and seek, svoje, mislim, tako se zove igra sa malim djetetom. Djeca misle da ako zatvorite oči, vi njih zapravo ne vidite jer oni ne vide vas. Na taj način se nekada ponaša i Europa i, mislim, uslovno rečeno Zapad, smatraju da ako zatvore oči pred problemom, ako zatvore oči pred ruskim konekcijama na Zapadnom Balkanu, da zapravo to nešto ne postoji. U tom smislu mislim da je naš zadatak da ukazujemo na to, otvaramo oči, mada postoji ona izreka da ne možete probuditi osobu koja se pretvara da spava.
Ви благодарам за овој разговор. Вчера имавте силна порака доста е се однесува на косовско-српскиот конфликт.
For me, it was a trigger on also what the colleagues from Serbian delegation were discussing as well, because they were telling untruths. They were making things up, exaggerating things without having a proper discussion. And as they always continue to do, never take responsibility for what they do. And so for me, I said it, enough is enough, because for the last 25 years of my life, I see the same pattern. And I decided to tell my story. And as I said, I never wanted to come down to that level of having a discussion. But I decided to tell my story because for me, what happened to me 25 years ago as a 13-year-old, where I was shot at, my family was killed in front of me, it was the same rhetoric used then as I see continuously happening now, just in other circumstances. And you have men who are part of that regime, who are leading the country now and still use the same rhetoric. So I don't want a future like that. I don't want a future for myself, I don't want a future for my child, and I don't want a future for other children, regardless of what ethnic background they come from. Because when war happens, it affects everybody. Some more than others in many ways, but still, it still has an impact. And so for me, it's very important what we do today to move forward. And I'm always shocked at the fact that when we have these discussions, how you hear the same rhetoric. You heard the next speaker, which is again one of Serbian MPs, and continuously, I'm sorry to say, telling lies.
Каква риторика, какви лаги попрецизно?
For example, that the Serbian community is the most discriminated community in the world. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is not true. Yes, they are in a difficult situation because they have pressure continuously from Serbia. They're not able to fully integrate within Kosovo and Kosovan institutions. We're trying everything to change that. We are trying to have dialogue with them. We're trying to get them involved. And yes, we have taken decisions, but decisions to make sure that rule of law is in place and respect for our laws and our constitution is in place. It has nothing to do with the Serbian community. It has everything to do with what Serbia actually does and tries to install in Kosovo.
Yes. Кога велите ни треба напредување, мислите на диалог со Србија всушност?
For me, it's also what I said yesterday, an apology of what took place, more effort to bring the perpetrators and to have some justice for families, and to stop its attack continuously towards Kosovo, but also trying to prevent Kosovo to move forward in, joining international organizations, being part of an international community. And so, because all of these provide for our citizens in Kosovo, again, regardless of the ethnic background. So unless Serbia stops these same propaganda and rhetorics, it's not going to let us move forward. If they stop and they have the willingness to sit down and negotiate and see what's actually on the interest of the people rather than the politics, then we will be able to move forward.
Имате голема поддршка да станете членка на Советот на Европа.
We're very thankful for all the support that we have at the Council of Europe, especially at the Parliamentary Assembly.
Кои земји се против ваше членство?
There are some countries which unfortunately have their own disputes, not necessarily in relation to Kosovo, but I think what this institution stands for, it shouldn't be relevant to that. You know, we're talking about human rights, we're talking about rule of law, we're talking about democracy. A lot of countries within the Council of Europe have their own disputes and disputes with other countries, regardless of you know, of what is happening, and they're still part of this institution. So I really believe that we should be given the opportunity to be able to be part of this institution, because this will provide for our citizens. It's not about the politics, it's about what it provides for our citizens and what it stands for. So I do hope that even those countries that are not in favor of Kosovo joining will change that attitude and position, because we're talking about people's lives, and I really think also that it goes against what this institution stands for. If you know, you're not supporting a country to become part of the Council of Europe, that it will provide specifically what it's asked for, you know. Because they're asking all of these elements in relation to us, then let us be part of this institution that's going to provide for it.
Руското влијание е огромно во регионот на Косово и Македонија.
Yes, unfortunately, we've seen that continuously. Not only Russian influence, but presence in many ways. I do hope that the international community will really take this seriously, because we don't want another war in the region. And you know, a lot of work has gone into getting to where we are, not only in relation to Kosovo, but also in other parts of the region. And it really should be taken seriously. There's a lot of talk here in relation to Russia's influence in other parts of Europe and in terms of conflict, but I really think this part of the region shouldn't be neglected in taking a stand in that regard.
Сметате дека зад нападот на Косово сушност стои руска вмешаност?
It's really interesting actually it's really interesting to see actually patterns of how this terror attack took place in Kosovo. For example, one of the members of parliament from Ukraine very well described Russian tactics also in terms of what happened in 2014, and in similar cases you've seen it in Bosnia as well.
Околу македонско-бугарските односи, знаете дека има 17 пресуди против Бугарија кои се однесуваат на македонското малцинство здружение. Тие не се почитуваат од страна на Бугарија.
But it will take time, and I think it's very important that we have the court, and for us it's very important to be part of the court, because it might take time for institutions to establish verdicts coming from the court, but then it puts pressure, it puts light on the issues that are taking place. So I still feel that it's a very important institution, and it might seem less powerful at times, but I think really it has much more power to push things forward, because it really sheds a light on a lot of situations, even if we don't have direct implementation of you know, the decision made by them.
Овие пресуди не се почитуваат.
I feel that more work needs then to be done in relation to how we make decisions, and also how institutions like this then treat countries that don't respect the decision of the court.
Не се почитуваат одлуки, човекови права, малцинства.
absolutely. And you know, for me also, it's always a shock, because you know we're always sort of lectured on in relation to minority rights and all of that. And I feel that, as for example, as a country, Kosovo is actually doing much better, and it's than a lot of other countries, even as members of you know. And actually the one country, again going back to, that you have in the region, Serbia, is that if you do the comparison in terms of minority rights, the way minorities are treated in Serbia, it's appalling. And some also could easily see it as ethnic cleansing.
Ви благодарам за овој разговор. So an hour ago, we saw a kind of celebration, a respect for Ukrainian heroes, but still there is no substantial aid, help, support from the Western countries. We saw it here at the Council of Europe celebration, but still, what do you need from this institution and actually from the whole Western world? It's not enough for you.
Yes, Ukraine is still fighting. I think we have and continuous help from our international friends. Of course, it's not enough if we're talking about weapons. We still have enough tanks, but we have them, and we have not enough airplanes or jets. If we're talking about F-16, still waiting for schools for pilots, and still waiting for even those jets. You know, I need to say that F-16, it's not like a panacea. We can use another jets, some British or another countries can give us the jets, and also we can reconstruct or renew even older jets with new equipment. But if we are talking about priorities, first, of course, it's a weapon, because Russia have more possibilities to produce than we, and we had no such big production of the weapon during a long time. And second, it is of course a financial help. We have enough money to close our needs in social field, in budgeting, in everything, in pensions, for doctors, teachers, and of course, first priority, it's a salary for soldiers. But frankly saying, I am not agree that this money is enough, because sometimes I said that this war is, you know, it's not comfortable to say about the people's life, but this war is too cheap. Why? Normal salary of the Israel or US soldier without war in normal day is 5,000 to 6,000 per month. Ukrainian soldier during the war in the battlefield have only 3,000. So it's some kind of inequality. Of course, all the countries can say us, that's your war, that's your problem, yes? But also, if we are talking about to join the European community, to synchronize our law and everything in economical way, in social way, we also need to think about this. And why I'm talking about the price of life or price of war? Because those problems that we have inside the families of the soldiers or ex-soldiers, veterans, or injured soldiers, or even killed, and if we are talking about those families who now have no father or mother, they cannot cover all their needs, not only financial. We are talking about, you know, not style, but it's a way of life, or what you can have with father or without father. You cannot change it. You cannot cover it with the money, but money can help a little children to get in proper education,